Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining into this small talk. We're accompanied with a very special guest. So we have Bastien here. Bastien, could you just explain quickly what you do on a day-to-day basis at SwissBorg?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the invitation and the organization, Benji. So I'm Bastien. I'm Chief Analytics Officer. So basically, I'm in charge of the data team, analytics team, and this team is working with almost all the different departments. So me as an executive, I'm part of strategical decisions, especially when there's data that are involved. And yeah, we're helping different departments, product, marketing, operations, and so on. So we have a bigger and bigger team with data engineers, data scientists, data analysts, and yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And you've been doing that for quite some time.
Yeah, so I it's a bit special because I started at SwissBorg like in 2018, where I was I've been hired as a quantitative analyst, so doing mostly data science, and then I was in charge of building the data team with the first scientists and analysts when we started to have user data for the community app and so on. And then just before launching the SwissBorg app, we decided to have the marketing and data merge. So I was basically in charge of the growth team, which was composed of the data team and the marketing team. And then we grew a lot, and we decided to split this team in two because it was relatively big, and maybe too big to manage. And also we had Jackie who joined, who helped us a lot on the marketing side. And now we decided to be more and more data driven and more data focused. So yeah, I'm doing it I'm doing it since the beginning at SwissBorg, and managing the team more than 2 years.
Excellent. Thank you, Bastien. So SwissBorg is aiming at massive growth of users. And can we get a feel for why Thematics will be helping with that and why it's going to be such a game changer, do you think?
That's a good question. So yes, we are preparing ourselves for massive growth. So that's why we hired also a lot of new employee. We adapt a lot of stuff at the operation level, marketing, and so on. And as you probably know, there's a lot of upcoming features. So this year, the beginning of, I would say, spring and summer will be very, very hot for us because there will be a lot of stuff coming. And as you know, what we want to do is to be the top application for crypto wealth management. And there is different bricks that are needed to do proper wealth management, and one of them is Thematics. Why? Because today, if you want to invest, when you invest, you don't necessarily only invest for performances. Of course, you invest for performances, but you want also to mitigate your risk. You want also to invest in what you believe. You want to invest in, I'm sure that all of you have some tokens that you like a lot, not only because it performed well, also because it's something that you like and it's something that you want to follow. And basically, Thematics will help users to have exposure on some different assets, on different team, on different segment of the industry with different topics. It could be like a lot of different stuff. And we know also from the financial world that if you look at what helped people to invest and mitigate their risk and manage their portfolio automatically was different indices. And basically it's what we want to provide to the industry. And why it's a game changer for the crypto sphere here is that it's not only an index or something that you don't just invest in a price that will change in time. You really own the tokens, and you will have the power of the smart engine behind. Like the rebalancing will be automated. It will be performed by the smart engine. It will help us because I don't know if you realize, but smart engine today in the app we have like I don't know how many coins we have right now, but we have more than 1,000 pairs, and pairs that are not existing in other exchanges. Even on Binance, if you want to do CHSB is a bad example because we're not on Binance. But if you want to do, I don't know, engine US, you cannot do it directly. So if you want to do proper balancing with thematics and have portfolio that automated, rebalanced with risk management and so on, it requires a lot of effort and time. And sometimes this is something that maybe user doesn't necessarily understand, but this takes time and there is intelligence behind. And basically with thematics, you will be able to have automated portfolio that are rebalanced, theme investment, where you will be able to pick also what are the investment you want to believe in or gain exposure. And also more than this, you will have also risk mitigation. Because for example, if I give you an example, you believe that smart contract will replace or will take the world in the future. And you believe that the future of internet, computing, whatever, are smart contract technology. So you can expose yourself to Ethereum, but maybe you don't know. Maybe Ethereum will, I don't know, die in 5 years. I don't think so, but you don't know. So then with thematics, you will be able to gain exposure on picked crypto, and the rebalancing will be automated. Yeah. So I don't know if I answered to your question. So this for newbies, it's something amazing because then, you know, we saw that in the data. I mean, we see some. What we want as a company, and this is a key metrics that we follow, is that users. We are wealth management. We are not a trading platform, so we don't want necessarily see people to trade. We want people to have their wealth growing, you know, on average, but not only on average. Because when you look at distribution, you see that there is some users who has really bad behavior, like they are all in on something, and you're like, why are you doing this? You know, I don't know. This guy is like, take at least stablecoin and just wait for it. With those products, it will help also to maybe save some people in when they start to invest, and not only also for people who are more experienced. It's also something. Some people, of course, will like to manage their portfolio, do the computation, and so on. But it takes so much time. I did it for myself for years, but then at the end of the day, I want also to spend my time on something else, and more experienced investors would have a tool that is used today also in traditional investment. But as usual, we will try to do something a bit different.
This is the thing. It's nice to have a tool there that is able to do that for somebody, you know, and regardless of whatever your experience is. And going on from that, you know, in terms of, you know, investing, obviously onto yields, the actual yields themselves, like yield seems to be one of the main focuses for this year. And how can that be? So if the rates are currently not the most competitive, is SwissBorg planning to able, or at least to be able to offer more competitive rates on the yields?
So this is a good question and something that is coming back very often. I just want to, before jumping on, so the answer is yes, of course. We aim for more competitive yield and we'll provide more competitive yield. But as it has been shared also in the keynote, one of the main things that we want also to introduce here, it's, as I mentioned again, we are doing wealth management. So we have to introduce risk here. So when you know risk, for example, when you have something, when you know that this is riskier than something else, it's when you have multiple choice. Okay. So what we want to bring is also different choice for the users to choose different yield wallet, or I don't know how we will call it. There will be different yield wallet or different way to have a yield or staking or passive income, and you will have different yield rates with different risks. So then you will have higher yield for some, but with a higher risk, you know, and this has to be visible. So of course we aim for a higher yield, and I don't know if you saw start to increase also for stable coins. There will be others that will come and will be more. I don't want to disclose everything, but there is a lot that the team is working on right now, and it's going to be great. You will see.
Excellent.
But what I wanted to mention here is that when we say we are less competitive than the others, yes, but I want to stress the fact that why the yield also are lower. We want to avoid also too much risk. And I don't know if you saw, but there's different risk. But I don't know if you saw, but like recently, even Voyager, Crypto.com lowered their yield. I don't know if you saw it. They lowered the yield like last week or 2 weeks ago. They made an announcement that the yield will be lower. Voyager has some issue with how they do it. We want to be there and stay and provide you the best service possible, but not only like now we will give you 50% on I don't know what, and then we'll not be able to do so in the future.
Consistency.
Exactly. It's constant.
Yeah.
But not only, it's like consistency, being able to provide the services, because depending how you do it, you can have some issues as well. You have legal constraint and stuff.
Of course.
We didn't take the choice to try to be really at the edge of what was possible to provide or not.
Yeah.
To protect us, to protect you, and to build something that is sustainable and will give you different options and so on. I know that it's frustrating because the yield rates go down, and then if the yield, this space is also special. People are always seek for performance or seek for higher yield and so on. So I understand why users are complaining and they ask for higher yield, because it will also higher the demand on CHSB. So it's mechanical. So of course we know that we need to be competitive, but we know that we also have to give different options. And I can tell you that the team is working. We have full squads working on it all the time to provide you the best thing possible, all the setup to have something that works properly and give you the service that you're asking for.
Yeah.
Great news.
Fantastic.
And it's not going to be something that will be there just once. It's going to be something like Lego, where you have different pieces, different bricks. Thematics will be the same. The first thematics that you will have will be maybe more simple than what will change in the future. Because now we have dedicated squads, we have focus on all those features. And it's not features that will just come, it will evolve, It's going to be, you can... In my team, for example, we did some research. It would be possible to have some sort of thematics where we select portfolio of the best users of the app or the best community member in terms of wealth management, and it could be copied by the user. There is plenty stuff. We can use the SwissBorg predictor to do. It's almost infinite, and it's the same for the yield. There is always new stuff, always new bricks. And it's what we aim for, like really being able to be also more agile and what we are giving to you. But it requires some change in the architecture. And as usual, we try to have something that will stay for long and be reliable.
Cool.
So I don't know if I answer your question.
Yeah, definitely. The next topic I'd like to go over, and I've seen that some people also in the chat are quite curious about it, is going to be the protect and choose that we've seen appear quite recently. So you've had a quite a big involvement in the protect and burn, and later on in the protect and choose. Can you explain why we've changed it and how you felt about the immediate feedback that the change has brought?
So the immediate feedback, sorry, I'm coughing. I'm still, I don't know, I have a part of COVID in my lungs.
No.
The immediate feedback, I was, how I can say it? I was a bit like, whoa, okay, there is a big reaction, I understand, but then I understand that maybe we didn't explain well how protect and burn worked. Because for us, this change, so we were multiple people talking about it. What we saw is that we needed to change it as soon as possible, because we saw that every time every time that we are buying back tokens and then burn them just after, it was not only from app users, but we saw on exchanges that there is a behavior that we didn't like. And we were going into a direction where every time we would do it and announce it, people would front run us and even affect the price worse than what we were trying to do. And we're like, okay, this is bad, because let's say we start to burning a lot. We burn it, half of the pool, or 75% of the pool, we buy back and burn immediately. And if people just there, or people on exchanges, potentially it's more holders on exchanges who are like trying to find good opportunity to to sell their bags, will be like, well, this would be bad because you use the protect and burn, and then it's the price correct, and then what? How the community will feel about this. So we said, okay, we have to think about it, and then we also think about the burn, because I just want really to make you understand that the burn is not what makes the price going up when we do the protect and burn. So the protect is really we buy back token on exchanges. So I don't know if all of you have made trades on exchanges, but you have an order book. So we do it through the smart engine today. But you have an order book, and you have sell and buy orders. Okay, and when we do the protect, we either put limit orders to try to push the price higher and higher and higher, or we buy back token immediately and we just eat the order book. So it's this that help to higher the price. Then we saw that when we do it, as the volume decreased a little bit, if we do it too quickly, it spikes and then it goes back immediately down. So we tested different way to do so, and I think that now we find an optimal way to do it that is more sustainable in the long term, not like big spikes like this. And what I wanted to mention is this: it's like protect and burn. You have the protect, it's the buyback, so it's where we support the price, and then the burn, it's just take those tokens, okay, once they are bought back, and send them to an address, the 0x000, the black hole, basically. So, so today the change that we've made is roughly the same as before, but the buyback is more secret, which means that now when we do some buyback, we don't have to announce it just after, because we buy back and burn immediately, you know. And this was how it was written in the past. So we said, okay, this we have to change. But then the question was like, okay, but then when we buy back, those tokens are there, so we have to burn them. And one of the questions that we had, and when we analyzed the market and what's going on, and some opportunities that we had also in the past, like for example, being able to provide tokens on DeFi platform and so on, we're like, okay, but sometimes for the long term, we will burn, that's for sure. But maybe time to time, there is opportunities where those tokens could be used. And because it's a lot of token, it's massively, it could be like, I don't know, right now we have 3 million, so it's almost 12 millions of token that could be used differently, you know. And what we came at the end is like, okay, so first the protect, it will not change, we'll just protect the protect, if I may. And then the burn, let's make the community decide at the end. Only if we have a good reason to use those tokens, because we want the community vote on what we do with the tokens. And at the end here, the change is that if we burn, if we see that there is no big opportunity to use the token for something else, it will just be like, okay guys, there is nothing special, we can vote for burn, let's vote for the burn, and that's it. But if we see that there is something that is really, really critical, I don't know, let's say Binance, we could be listed, but they ask 10 million token to be invested, or we can have a listing on Aave, but we need liquidity for CHSB. Really stuff that are massive for a growth that will be even better than burning them, we'll ask for a vote. And this is just the thing. It's just at the end, if the token are burned, they will be burned exactly the same way as now. It's just that you will have to wait to see them burned. And you will just have an announcement that tells you that more token has been burned at once. And we believe that this also, in terms of marketing, it will be higher, because it will be, you know, when you have those quarterly burn, it's big number and people are like, whoa, gosh, they are burning like millions of dollars of token. This is strong, you know, instead of like small parts. So to summarize, yes, we were a bit like, not shocked, but I was like more impressed by the fact that some comments tells us that maybe it was not well understood how it works even before. That it's not the burn that protects the price. It's in the long term, of course, the burn make the token more scarce. Okay, so it lowers the supply. But when they need protection, it's when we buy back on exchange. But then those tokens will still be there. And at the end of the quarter, we will say, okay, we have bought back this amount during the quarter. We have a big opportunity. What do you think about it? Yes, no, because we don't want to force the community to tell you, okay, we'll do this with tokens. And if not, we will burn it. You will vote for burn, and that's it. But I understand that first it looks like, oh, we will never burn. We know, and I can tell you that the proposition that we have, or the opportunity, will have to be big. Otherwise, it will be burned. That's it. But when we'll have one of those opportunities, maybe it will never happen. I hope not, because it's really the thing. It's like we would like to have those big opportunity, and there's teams who seeks for opportunity to make the CHSB grow also on the DeFi ecosystem and so on. When we'll have it, normally we'll say, okay, let's use those tokens for this.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. I'd like to build a little bit more on that, because we seem to have a lot of questions regarding the voting.
I don't see where are the questions.
They're in SB Coffee text, but I'll read them out. It's not an issue.
It's faster.
So people are asking, for example, how will the votes work? Do you think the voting power is fair? And will SwissBorg restrict the votes to a certain number of choices depending on what we think?
Yes. It's gonna be. I mean, this is maybe what was not perfectly explained. We will not like. We'll not give, if there is multiple choices that we think are great, we'll provide you. But we'll not tell you, okay, do you think that we'll use it for this, for that, or for this? It's like the team will suggest at that moment stuff that they think could have more value than the burn.
Just like the token votes.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's going to be something like this. I didn't saw yet the whole stuff, but it would be something like this, like the token vote.
Okay.
Ideally, it would be nice to vote within the app. I think it's. I'm not sure it's going to be there for
next quarter.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Fantastic.
And about fair, the question that came back. This I think the definition of fair is in democracy there is always those discussions. So I believe that in the article, marketing suggests that standard users will have also a voting. And I believe that some people mention, okay, but people on premium, they don't have CHSB, and why they have to vote, So I understand this, and this is an open question, I think, for the vote, and it's important to listen to the community for this. I'm Swiss, so I believe that when a vote is done, everyone. But I understand the fact that maybe people who have CHSB, you will need to at least have CHSB to be able to vote. At least you have, you are part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, and
then the
easier
voting
to check.
powers for exactly. I can tell you that when we check the votes that are done, generally premium are voting, and even when you survey, users are not the one who are like really. you can expect that not that much will convert, but at the same time, it's also an acquisition tool, because if you make standard user vote, you do awareness, which means that they will realize, oh, I can vote. Okay, I can vote for something in this ecosystem. But then, if I was premium, I would have my voice will be higher. So it's a way also to market CHSB and bring people who are not really aware of what's going on into the community. Because this is something that we saw, is that we have a lot of standard users, and they don't really know what CHSB is and what the community is. They don't even know that you exist, or they don't even know that there is those votings. So I understand that it could be frustrated, and I think it's still an open question to vote for standard users, but there is pro and cons. It can attract also people, and I believe that if you have invested in CHSB, everyone should be able to vote, and then we can play on the multiplier as well.
Yeah, excellent. So moving on to fees. The question. The 1% fee, which is taken on transactions, is always fixed at the moment. And the question that I wanted to ask is this something that is, or I'll re-ask the question, is the 1% fee taken on transactions always going to be fixed, or would an increase in users allow for this to be reduced in any way?
This is a good question, and I think it comes back also to, let me know if I talk, but I think here, it's also something I saw multiple threads talking about those fees. Oh, SwissBorg, you're fucking expensive. No, the other are not taking spread. It's a lie. It's the same price everywhere. Blah blah blah. That's wrong. I'm sorry. It's fucking wrong.
Can I just say as well? I know it's wrong because I actually know it's wrong. But
it's
anyway.
I think we need to take time to do an article. I don't know. I had prepared. I have a GIF. You should go on order book chart on Wikipedia and try to understand how an order book works, because I will answer to your fees, to the fees question. But today, basically, the smart engine, he built a master book. So he take all the pairs, the different pairs that are on Binance, even the one that you don't see, even some that does not exist as listed token and so on, and he aggregate everything to give you the best liquidity possible. Okay, so which means that when you take a given quantity of, it's like you have to imagine that when you go to the shop, you see that you would like to buy 10 bananas, and the first 2 bananas are $1, but the next 8 bananas are $1.5, But with the other books can take a few bananas at $1 more. And then when you want to buy for a given quantity, you will have the best price execution, which means that it takes all the others and the average price will be the best amongst all those orders. Yeah. And then on top of that, it's a service. The SwissBorg has to live. The token has to grow, the ecosystem has to grow, to invest, to increase our services and so on. So we have to put fees. But then people are saying, but guys, you put fees, and Voyager, they are free. Okay, I will tell you how Voyager is doing it. Voyager, what they do, they give you a price, and the price is the price that you will have if you would have buy 500,000 of BTC or 1 million worth of BTC. So basically, they take a price, they fix it, okay, and they give you this as a price. So basically, they take a spread, okay, and of course, if you go on Binance and you want to put your little order step by step, you can be more competitive. But this takes time, and of course, if you don't want to pay fees and have on average the best price possible, you can invest your time. But time has value as well. And then you take other app like Bitpanda, you take or Coinbase or Crypto.com. You cannot say, guys, they are free and it's the same price. No, it's not the same price. It's not the same price. The price that we provide is a master book, an aggregation of all this order book that we are connected with, Kraken, Binance, and so on. And then they have either their own exchange, but also they fix the price they want. So they have the right. This is what is important. They have the right to fix the price where they want. For example, if we have the master book now, I don't know, Bitcoin is 45K, but if they want, they can put it at 45, 100K as well. Mm. But then you will see, but it's zero fees, it's 0% fees, so it's cheaper. No, and on average, not. And of course, those 1% fees could seem high, and this is a bit sometimes suffering, because you say, okay, we try to do it transparently. We have this engine that is crazy and so on, and then people complain that we're expensive. But it's also hard to make people understand that on other crypto exchange, they just fix the price they want, you know. So to answer your question, I don't know if it will change or not with more users. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible that some stuff change, how present price or not. It's possible. Then the question why it's 1%, because at the time when we compare also with the spread that are taken on others and those average and stuff, we were still very competitive on the main pairs like Bitcoin, stablecoin, Bitcoin, and so on. So we're like, okay, if you are premium, it's awesome, and if you're not premium, it's still great. So it was how it has been decided, and then if we could have gone higher, but then it started to be psychologically too much. And I wanted to say something, I forgot. But yeah, there is also something that people don't realize, is that try to do, even on Binance, I don't know, try to do engine to Utrust. It's fucking annoying. You have to go from one to the other, then to BTC to this, and then to BTC to again Utrust. Here you do in one click everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, we give price that does not exist anywhere in the world. So there is in those 1% also for synthetic pairs, there is the time that you save, and the fact that it's even ordered that for some you will not be able to do. Like, for example, for Occam, Nemo, and so on, we aggregate all books. If you have to do it manually, it takes time. Huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's frustrating sometimes, and I think that this is where we need you, the community. It's to educate people, and it's not something we can do. We wanted to do this, to try to get the price everywhere, but it's difficult. But if you have different apps like Coinbase, Crypto.com and stuff, and you want to do some experiment, try to buy at the same times, and you see that, oh gosh, here the difference is massive, don't hesitate to do so, and
I think
we'll aggregate
show
all
us.
of this.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is that, just a lack of experiencing, being abused, I think, by somebody else or by another company.
Yeah. It's true for so many things. That's the problem. It's not only for this. You have other stuff, other services.
Might be a good idea to actually get some examples together.
Yeah.
If you can.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we could make an initiative and ask people to compare with different tokens.
It's the best, because for us it does not bring us in the competitor bashing.
No, of course. Maybe get the community to do it.
We're not in US,
Yeah. US, they usually do it, but yeah.
They have the right to do it,
Yeah.
Here there is some rules in Europe.
Yeah, it certainly is.
All right. I wanted also to go talking about bashing competition and all of that. We've launched a marketing campaign in the French-speaking part of Switzerland recently. First of all, did that help? And are we going to see the brand in more locations in the future?
Yeah, so I was still in charge of this department at that time. It was something that I really wanted to do before changing. Yes, it helped. It helped especially for awareness. When you want to grow a company, you can go, and especially in Switzerland, you can go and say, oh, download the app, everywhere. Or you can have people in the street sharing, I don't know, flyers and stuff like this. But this is not the way. You cannot attract people immediately to say, people, now put your money in this app that you never heard about. Okay. So first you have to be known, and to be known, you have to be visible, and also you have to be linked or close to other trusted company. Okay, so what we did in Switzerland, for example, is to put advertisement in the airport in Geneva. We also have advertisement running in train stations, streets, and so on. And our name was there, and around there was like very well-known name. I don't know if you saw in Geneva, but you are around like all the watches and wealth management platform and banks and stuff. And there is SwissBorg. And then we did also different stuff. We had a partnership with now we have with the festivals. We have also like, it was something like really looks stupid, but it works well. There is a so-called Passeport Gourmand in Switzerland. It's basically a book that you can give at Christmas to your friends or anything, where you can go in a restaurant and you have a discount and you can discover a different restaurant. And we had a flyers inside, but it's something that is way well known in Switzerland and a trusted company, okay, since 30 or 35 years. And it's something that did not cost us that much. And we saw people downloading from this QR code, people talking about this. It has been shared also on those books are sometimes sold like on third-party website where our name was there. And step by step, we saw more and more people talking about us. And also it helped. And we saw that when we had French, the French version, that we saw that in December when the growth were going a bit down in other countries, in Switzerland it stayed stable and even it grew a bit. So it helped us now also to connect with people. And now the next step after this is to do an acquisition campaign, which means, okay, now people, they heard about us. Okay, also thanks to you, when you do your guerrilla marketing to Fnac and putting your reward program, this is the best. You can do this every weekend if you want. And people start to see our name, and then they will be like, okay, so this name, and now they ask me to, I don't know, they give me one Bitcoin, they give me something, or I can download the app and I receive an NFT or something. And then it's where you attract people step by step. But first you have to be well known, because we realized that it's like island, you know, we were in our social sphere in Switzerland island, and now we have to go to another island. So you have to go with your boat and try to here, I'm new, then you start to talk, and then at the end you can start to have a drink with other people in the island. So yes, it helped, and it's something that definitely we want to do in other regions. So for example, in the Swiss-German part, when German will going to be sooner than you think, and then open in other countries. So when in France we'll be able to do it, we'll do it. When in Germany it's going to be possible as well, we'll do it. But we always do it when we can do it. But it's
Nice.
It's nice. It's a lot of work. The marketing team worked a lot for this. It's a lot of coordination. It has a cost, but it was successful. Yeah, and it makes also the, I don't know, community proud. Us. It gives like a bit of we are not just a startup. We
Recognition,
are now
yeah.
of the exactly
Credibility as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and trust.
Fantastic. So going on to the Hiuuubi listing,
Yes.
which SwissBorg recently did. Did SwissBorg have objectives regarding the impact expected, and how can the lack of movement on such a big platform be explained?
For the sorry.
That's
So,
okay.
when we decided, I mean, when we have here, of course, Hiuuubi is one of the top tier exchanges. But we knew that today we are in Europe, we're in Switzerland, that potentially going into Hiuuubi will not be, will not have as much traction as in like other exchanges or, I mean, in Europe. Because Hiuuubi is you have European people on there, but it's located more in Asia and so on.
Yeah.
So we were saying, okay, it's possible that it will happen. But even though it happened, it's fine, because it's like it gives us visibility and also credibility on one top tier exchange. Of course, what we want to see now is because the volume will not pick up if the volume in general will. This is something that we saw. And today we have a bit low volume on the exchanges, so it's okay. It's better than not 1 year ago, because 1 year ago it was totally crazy. But it's better than a few months ago, but it has to be higher. And the moment when we will pick up and we have an uptrend, I will tell you it's not possible that on one of those exchanges people start to to invest and start to trade. So of course we want to generate volume there, organic volume, and let's see. It's a bet. We believe that it's a good decision to be there, and we will always try to be listed on exchanges. And if there is an opportunity, whenever some. But yeah, it was. We're expecting maybe a bit more volume there, organically, but it was not. It has to come from something. So for us, it's also a way to make our token known by other people. But it took time, with on HitBTC and stuff, and we need the second wave or second bullish trend on our token.
The general market to pick up as well.
But what I can tell you is that there is a lot of things coming right now, and we now are focused on. I think it's one thing that I don't know where, but we are focused on really like thematics, improve the yields, but not only improving the rates, also the experience, and give you the best tool to invest. There is also all the things that have been shared in the keynote, the prizes, there is language and stuff. It will be massive.
Yeah.
I don't want to tease you too much, but
well, talking about the keynote and the fact that there aren't any dates that are ever announced, and we don't have any specifics to. It's just like it's teasing. April is going to be filled with stuff. Can we Can we know if one of the big things from the keynote is at least expected to land by the end of April?
I'm not allowed to talk, or I'm joking. No, first, why we stopped saying stuff? It's also to play with you. No, it's wrong. It's like we it's you have to understand that sometimes we aim for a date and we're like, okay, we're but this and then the timing and that. It's so hard, it's so complicated what it looks so. This is the problem we have. The app looks simple, but behind it's complicated, it's technical, and there's a lot of work to give you the best experience possible. So what I can tell you, it's likely that something that has been discussed during the keynote, even though I don't remember exactly discussing the keynote, will be there soon. But the I don't know if you saw the tweet of
yes.
But it's quite full. I think marketing will have a hard time until this summer.
He said soon.
That's a good answer. A very good answer. So look, now we're getting close to the end of the Smart Talk, and I want to ask Bastien: is there anything that you would like to communicate to the community?
Oh, then we have a small Q&As if we have a few minutes still.
Of course.
Yeah, I have 10 minutes. Yeah, I would like to say thank you for the support, for everything. Continue because we need to grow. Continue to support us. Continue to believe in us, because there is a lot of positive things that will happen. And I know that sometimes it's frustrating, especially when the price is not going in the direction, but it's not a sprint. It's a long-term road that we will do together.
It's a marathon.
So thank you, and continue to promote us, to discuss, contribute, propose, and what you're doing here.
Excellent.
Cool. There was one question that came into the chat from Pierre. It's there are some complaints on Discord regarding the withdrawal fees. SwissBorg is taking more fees than competition if we're withdrawing. How is that calculated? Is it an algorithm? Is it dynamic? What's the deal with that?
I'm not totally sure that we take the highest fees, because we are quite aligned with Binance. So basically, it's updated on a weekly basis, and we adapt it with the cost of work and check also what other platforms are doing, and we optimize it to have something that does not cost us and cost you the less. It's how it is. I think that there is maybe some confusion, because if you take, for example, USDC or other tokens, you have different networks. And on our app, you go through the Ethereum network, so it's a bit more expensive than if you go to another. So maybe it's this. But at the end, if you check, for example, the Binance, you see that it's roughly the same.
Okay,
for
thank you.
crypto, huh? For
Yeah.
crypto and for fiat, it's to cover the costs with the banks as well.
Yeah.
There was also a question from Cryptophile asking, to what extent did the reflection worked on the protect and choose topic from the community help the team?
So the team came with, we had a cafe, and the team came with the team. The community came with a document with different proposition, suggestion, like yield the pool, which is something that we do now. How to tokens, how to burn, how to protect and stuff. So when we have those kind of document or suggestion from talk about it internally, we see also what is possible to do or not, and we use them to build potentially the solution that we think is the best. Of course, we have different constraints that we cannot always apply what is suggested for different reasons. Could be accounting reasons, it could be legal reasons, it could be technical reasons. So we take what is the best, and then we have built what we have presented. But again, we didn't change that much at the end. It's more to protect the protect and make the possibility to use the token if very opportunity, and then yield the rest of the pool.
Oh yeah, I did have a question about that. The pool is yield, so you buy back the CHSB, and then no.
I mean, it's not the CHSB. The yield is on
the dollar value. So
on the dollar value. On the stable coin value.
Fees are taken, stored into stable coins, which are then yielded and unyielded when you need to do the buyback, and then with the tokens that you get, we vote on what happens to them.
Exactly.
So once they're bought back, they're not yielded anymore, basically.
No, because otherwise it will lower your.
Yeah.
Scanning through the chat.
Do you think that giving more tokens to people will support confidence in the price in the long run? Oh, so I guess this is related to the votes. I'm translating it, but it's just assumption that this question is, would giving a boost in yield really help? And that's more like an open question. I don't think we have a yes or no for this. Or maybe you do.
No, I mean, I'm not sure to understand. It's for which yield?
So no, if you give CHSB yield boost with the tokens that were bought back with the fees, so basically giving back to the people that are staking, to what extent do you think that would help? Why is it more valuable than burning?
This is a tricky question. In the long term, burning you lower the circulating supply. In the short term, you can assume that giving CHSB to stake token could attract more premium users, because it could be more sexy, and then you can have a buying pressure on CHSB that will increase the amount of token that will be burned on and so on. So I think to have an answer, it has to be tested or not. So this we'll have to see if we want to do this or not, or if the community or not. But it could be something positive because it could make premium more attractive and then have a higher conversion, higher buying pressure on CHSB, more exchanges, and so on. So it's always a bit complicated because there are different parameters. Higher, and then if the CHSB price is higher, then the acquisition is higher, then the people generate more fees. It's better to have something that grow as soon as possible, our ecosystem, then we'll burn more in the future and in the long term, than burning token right now and not growing.
Do you find that if you change one variable in one place and then it affects like multiple variables somewhere else, and this is why it's hard to find that balance?
Yeah, it's this, and it's always, you always have to take the whole picture. And that's because you can always argue that the best thing today will be to grow as much as possible, the biggest user base as possible, to generate a lot of revenues right now to earn in the long term.
Because I'm trying to think about the way that the community looks at this, and obviously it's very easy to just focus on one thing, for example the fee, or to focus on the burn or whatever. But then ultimately it's the whole picture. You guys are working on the whole picture, and we only see like one aspect of it, and it can be quite frustrating for us. But then it's the whole thing is frustrating for you guys.
Exactly. And also, if you look now at the amount of token that we burn, it's cool. But if you look at it and you check what is in the yield, what is staked, you're like, okay, it's maybe marginal. So it's also what we say. It's like maybe those tokens are better to grow faster, to have opportunities, and then accelerate also those token burn in the future. Because today, let's say we are just us together and we stay within us, okay? Then we trade in the app. We are 50, 70, and we trade. We have fees. Okay, we burn every time and so on, but it's going to be a small burn. But let's say that for maybe 1 or 2 months, we use those tokens to attract new people and to make our channel more attractive by, changing stuff. We use token to change the paper, and we are like 100. And then those 100, we double the rate of the burn in the future. So it was this. First, we had to act with this protect. Like we're a bit stuck, to be honest, and we're like, okay, now we cannot buy back, otherwise people it's like we're stuck. So let's make it more I would say less transparent to not be front run. And then with the burn, we're like, okay, maybe there is opportunity to take, and it will be an investment that will allow us to grow faster. And the faster you grow, the more scarce the token will be. That's it.
So, I know you've got to run. There's a last question that should be quite quick to answer.
I have 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. So we can probably go for 2 small questions. There is one that's from Luca. He's asking, what's the most surprising piece of data you've come across while doing analysis or looking at?
Wow, this is a good question. There is a there is a lot. There is a lot. There is 2. User data is fancy. To be honest, it's really fancy because you see extreme behavior. And there is some users, for example, who are watching asset analysis for a while. It was like hundreds of times per day. And you're like, wow, he's addicted, Or it's funny because it's a friend. And I think someone here who is in the channel that knows him as well. We saw that he was so addicted to the app that at some point he was not sleeping during a week for 3 hours every night and check the portfolio, and you're like, wow, this is dangerous. And you have extreme behavior is really it's really funny to see. And you see that there is people who are addicted, or we have even people still there since 2-3 years. And they never deposit money, but they're using the app to check the asset analysis. They go on marketplace, I don't know what. And and it's funny. And then you have some data you don't want to see, people who, if you look at the distribution of people who invest all in on wrong token at the wrong moment, but why are you doing this? And then you know that these users, you have to do something for them. So I would say it's user data and extreme behavior. It's really it's interesting and funny.
It's like the statistics that we had at some point in the powwow. Was like this guy did 146 deposits last week.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and it's funny. Or I check the app hundreds of thousands of times, or I don't know. Asset is a bit crazy, or sometimes some trade a lot, but really a lot, and you look at it and you're like, but why are you doing it? You don't know. It's like you feel that they're like, okay, I go to this from this, then I go back to that, and then you check the price and you're like, okay, FOMO, then he sold, and then you and you it's funny. It's or people who do redemption of wait, no, I'll go back in the year. The day after, no, I will take them back.
I'm guilty.
So it's it's user data are the funniest.
All right.
And extreme sometimes. It's when last year we had like the massive growth, payment flowing, everything flowing into the app. You see this and you're like, wow, it's a tsunami. It's crazy.
And to end with a fun question, more or less. Where was it? Something about any plans for additional benefits for the Generation and Genesis Premium holders?
I mean, with all the new features that will come, there will be. There is also a team, a squad. So now we are organizing squads to be really more efficient, faster, and stronger. And they explore different ones. I don't have anything that I want to disclose today.
Maybe next time.
But yes, of course, it's the goal, and the more we add, there will be other benefits.
It's the more attractive the premiums become, the more people want it. That's it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly. So the more attractive the app is, the more attractive CHSB is, and so on.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That was great.
Thank you,
Bastien.
everyone. Happy to come back another time.
And don't hesitate to drink some tea with honey in it.
Yeah, I tried.
Or maybe a bit of whiskey.
This I think I will try this.
What the Swiss guy is saying tea and the English is saying whiskey?
So we'll do tea and whiskey with some honey.
It's funny actually because I don't drink and I'm sure Ben does. So. Oh dear.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Have a
Bastien.
nice
Thank
day.
you.
Bye bye.